Well, it's a little rough, but the first episode of Rings of Power was, for the most part, really, really good. Now, the basic spiel with season one, which turned a lot of people off to the entire series, is that it was so focused on a major twist that its revelation was a little underwhelming. And actually, there were two twists, but either one was like a little bit all over the place. Now, this one also does engage in a few twists, and the plot is way too complicated. There's no need for that. However, the central story is very well done, performances were on point, and the production design is awe inspiring. The costumes, the colors, cinematography, special effects, except for in a few places. Special effects were a little dodgy, a few places here and there, but for the most part, it looks wonderful. But is it worth continuing the story? Well, one of the central problems and mysteries with Lord of the Rings, the book, is that we just don't know Sauron, right? Tolkien writes a lot about Sauron, but who he really is, what he even looks like, what are his motivations, it's all sketched out very thinly. We have to just infer and guess a lot. So Rings of Power is taking a risky decision to make Sauron himself a much more central protagonist. And you have the drawback that you may be getting rid of the mystery of Sauron, which I think is critical to why he's so evil and so powerful. But that said, it is a little jarring, and I didn't like one of the first twists. I thought like there was no need for that. But again, as the story developed, it gets more and more intriguing and more interesting, especially if you do pay attention to the dialogue. There were a lot of clever touches, and some of the cast has gone away and it's been replaced, but I didn't notice the difference. So at least with Adar, Sauron, no issue there. It's coming across very effectively. But are there things to complain about with the lore as well as certain details? Yes. For one thing, the elves are still way too powerful. There is magic, and LOTR, there is. Tolkien does have magic, but even he keeps telling us there's really not that much magic here. I don't know what he means by magic, but clearly these creatures do have powers. However, they're much more limited in the book. I mean, the elves can do a lot. They can do a lot, but they can't do things like this. So there's one scene in particular where a character just manages to do a massive jump, which would even kill an elf, but just survives. He's okay. So the power levels of the elves. So in terms of criticism, I wish they limited the powers of the various characters a little bit more. And there is a lot of focus on action scenes, which notoriously Tolkien, when he got these scripts from Hollywood, he didn't like. He just thought, you're missing the point. There is a lot of action, there's a lot of blood, there is even sex in Tolkien's books and in the main trilogy. However, he was very careful and delicate. There is a lot of action, but there's also just a lot of time spent where there is no action. A lot of people who are criticizing Rings of Power and giving it a low rating are like, it's so boring, it's taking so long. Yeah, they're trying to be like the books. So some of the details were a little flimsy, but some were really spot on. In fact, they're incredibly accurate. So it's a mixed bag, but mixed positive. I'm going to give the first episode a 7.5. It's very promising. I will say, if you did like the Hobbits from season one, and I did not like the Hobbits, I hated them. They've been diminished a lot, but they're still here. I wish they were more of a cameo, but that's just a major personal complaint. I do wish the Hobbits were more diminished, but they are here. If you do like them, they're back, but they're not as annoying as before.